Hello everyone, this is Ryan Jamestein. Today's video is about a search and rescue mission which started around 12:30 and that sadly led into a search and recovery mission around 2:30 p.m. This all happened because a group of boys were swimming around Zoo Boulevard and at the Big Ditch in Wichita, Kansas, which is technically called the Wichita Valley Center Flood Control. Uh, this morning, people were told specifically not to go into the river and the Big Ditch. They've actually been telling people that for the last few weeks since we've had all this rain, and it's been really high. People aren't even allowed to go boating in the river, which they normally are allowed to. But this is the Big Ditch, which you're seeing here. And there are people out there on this bridge. This is at Kellogg and 235 at the Big Ditch. People are trying to see if they can find the kid, the single 14-year-old boy who sadly we believe to have drowned. It is currently about 11 o'clock at night, and there's still no word on whether they found him or not. Now we move over to, I believe this is Maple and near 235 at the Big Ditch. More police. I'm not sure where that one in particular was from. And then there's a rescue squad up here. They had Wichita police officers and fire department, Sedgwick County Fire Department, Sedgwick County EMS, the sheriff, every emergency personnel that were available were on this. They had personnel from Zoo Boulevard and 235 all the way down to I believe it was 63rd Street, either 55th or 63rd Street, along the Big Ditch at every single bridge to see if they could find him. And like I said, so far they haven't. Here you're seeing a passover from at 235 and Maple, and you can here you can also see how high the water is in this in the Big Ditch. We're coming up to Kellogg and 235 at the Big Ditch. You'll be seeing more fire department, police, and everything up here. Yet again, they were looking for a 14-year-old boy who had gone missing. He was swimming. They were swimming in this. At first sight, in some areas, the water seems like you could swim in it, but sadly, that was not the case here, and he got swept away. And they still have not found him. Here you can see over here. There was a whole bunch of water there, and that's not normally there. That just shows how much flooding was going on in the area, and all of the flood waters do go into this Big Ditch. And right now we're just fast forwarding through some of the drive around the area. This is I believe Ridge Road. Now this is back at Central, coming from the other direction. You can see there's more emergency people up here, rescue squad, various fire and police. And again, it has been raining for the past 3 weeks here, and it was slightly stormy today, but it has been raining for the past 3 weeks. We've officially been declared that we're out of a drought here. All of the state lakes are full to over capacity. Cheney Reservoir, for example, it was at 70 or 75%, somewhere in there, and it's now almost. It's either at capacity or over capacity. Canopolis Lake, it was very dry, and now it's well over capacity, as they tell us. Um, Yet again, here we are at the Big Ditch and Central. Uh, they're looking for those for that boy. Uh, there were various pedestrians and people going back and forth here, also helping with the rescue. Um, we'll just sit back and watch for a little bit. Here, traffic was moving very slow, and you'll see that traffic was very much backed up. That was a guy from KSN out there recording for newscast that tonight. As I was saying, traffic was moving very slowly in many areas due to the blockage by various fire trucks and police. Here we see EMS, Wichita Police, Wichita Fire Department behind the EMS, and more police back behind that. You can see some people over there standing on the bridge. I believe that's a paramedic there. And the reason why I decided to do a voice over for this was because I did have some things I wanted to say, and then again, and the audio I can't have on YouTube due to copyright music and that kind of stuff. But the audio wasn't too whoopee anyway. Mainly just me and my mother arguing back and forth. Up here you'll see another EMS paramedic on its way, and we'll see where we transition to in a minute. Okay, here we're back on 235. This is right between Zoo Boulevard and Central, I believe. There's a ongoing construction project, and at first, before we were told who it was, we thought that maybe a construction worker had gone in. They're working on putting in a ramp for 13th Street, and I don't know if it's going over the Big Ditch or not. I think it is. I wasn't sure if it was. I'm not sure if it's to get on for traffic on 235 to get off at 13th, or if it's for. I think it's for traffic to get over the Big Ditch on 13th Street. Here there are more Wichita police, and here we fast forward, going down onto Zoo Boulevard again. In a minute, you'll see a helicopter. This was when they first. They were on their way into the scene to look for the child by aircraft. This is the Wichita Police Department's helicopter, if it'll focus in. Again, I don't know if I've said this yet, but some of the footage isn't the best, but I had a lot to edit, and a little bit of bad editing is okay in this case, because you get to see what went on. This was a very major day for Wichita, a very hectic day for many people in Wichita, and just remember to keep the family of these people in your prayers, of the child and of all the people who are working to find him. Here's another shot of the helicopter going around and searching through the Big Ditch. And at this point, I don't think I've ever said this, but the camera I use is Canon Vixia. I think it's either HF or RF. HF R400. Canon Vixia HF R400. 53x advanced zoom. It's like 25x digital or 30 or something like that. Digital zoom or optical zoom, and then like the rest is digital zoom, but they call it altogether advanced zoom because they have some sort of special technology that makes it so it stays clear. And surprisingly, it does, as you can see from this helicopter shot. In certain areas, I get in very close to it, but of course, it like right there, it doesn't focus. But that's because I wasn't on a steady tripod and I was in a moving car while trying to capture a moving helicopter. Uh, so here we are. It's just circling around at the moment, and more shots of the helicopter here. Guess I can keep quiet for a second here and take a drink of water. Okay, still more shots of the helicopter flying around, and it'll get back to the ground recovery in a moment here. You could, I don't know much about aircraft, so if any of you know what kind of helicopter this is or anything like that, go ahead and say and leave a comment down below. Some people find that interesting. I myself would like to know what kind of helicopter it is. I also will have some videos coming out soon of the various flooding that has occurred in our area, around Wichita and Sedgwick County and the state lakes and stuff. Here we are back on I don't know what the name of the road is. Let me look it up here real quick. Windmill Road is where this footage is coming from. It's right off of Zoo Boulevard. Right now you're looking over at some of the officers and various emergency personnel who are on the lookout for this child in the water. At Zoo Boulevard and 235, right around in that area, this is all where the police are set up and everything. Here is zoom in on one of the Sedgwick County Rescue Squad's trucks, rescue and fire. I think it's Unit 37. Another zoom out here. You can see all the police over there. They're over there talking. I think they're getting ready to start a news briefing. And again, what was going on here was a group of children were swimming at just south of Zoo Boulevard in the big ditch. One of them was carried away by the current, and that led on this search and rescue, which later turned into a search and recovery. Here's a close-up on a Wichita police car with interior lights instead of a light bar on top. Again, people were warned not to go into the water due to it being very rapid and very high. Here's a zoom in on the police cars out on Zoo Boulevard. Sorry that the video is so shaky here, but again, stop and go traffic was occurring here, and some people had no idea what they were doing. Here's a better zoom in on what's going on here, and going back to what I was saying before, people were warned not to be swimming in the river, in the big ditch, in any water that was high. People were even warned not to go into their streets when they were flooded, due to the fact that you could be carried away, and smaller children could be carried away into the storm drains. And here is an officer roping off the bridge over there, so the pedestrians wouldn't be walking over into their area. And this morning there was a guy. I heard this was on the radio today for the news. There was a guy down in the river on an inflatable dragon, out swimming or riding it or something on the river, and the fire department, I guess, came along, got him out, and here's the news briefing. The fire department came and got him out, and he was fined and possibly put into jail because he was endangering his own life. And like I was saying, there was a news briefing going on back there, which was probably on Cake TV, KWCH 12, and KSN today. I'll see if I can get a hold of that footage eventually. Here again, you can see the big ditch and all the flooding going on. And then right up here, there was a man out there watching from the fire department. And then here was just a slow motion of going by some Wichita police cars because we were going 65 and they didn't show up too well in standard motion. So then here's another shot of the helicopter flying over. Hopefully it'll get less blurry in a second. There you go. Yet again, going 65 miles an hour isn't too easy to focus in on something like that. And then here's a slow motion going by Central. When I was zoomed in, I didn't quite hit it in the right spot, but you can see the traffic backed up there. And here we are back at, I believe this is Maple. I think this is at Maple Street and 235. Yes it is. This was upstream or downstream from where the child went under. Here we are back at Kellogg, going by again. There you can see how high the water is. If you look on Google Maps, you can see what it's normally at. Though sometimes the Google Maps, I think it's even a bit higher than it normally is. There you just saw it's a small rescue squad. And we're passed by their engine, and we'll turn around up here and get back on Kellogg and get back over onto 235, and I think we're heading over to Southwest Boulevard after this. I'm not correct if I'm correct. Here you can see more video. This is south, I believe. This is going south on 235. On the on-ramp from Kellogg to 235 South. Downstream, of course. And I believe we're still going over to Southwest Boulevard. Yes, here we are, and this is, I believe it was mainly officers down here at this area. Yeah, see there, it's a Wichita Valley Center flood control sign. This, if without this ditch, before they had this, much of Wichita would flood. Much of Wichita and Valley Center would flood, and they had a lot of issues. And now, here we are driving by it. Here we go, and you can see the water. There's a couple of officers, or their cruisers. There was a highway patrol, Wichita police van. There's officers here. And then we're getting off, and I believe this is, where is this at? I believe this is over around MacArthur. This is at 55th Street, I believe. Either 55th or Meridian. and we'll head back to MacArthur in a minute. This, yet again, this is around 55th Street, I believe. This was where, in this area, this is where they, their last point on the bridge, where they were looking, because hopefully they would find him by that point. By now, at this time, they may have shifted even further down to make sure that they could get him before it gets too far downstream. This here was MacArthur.
Today is KFDI Wichita and KFDI HD1, Wichita's news leader.
It's 4 o'clock. I'm Mark LeBoy. The search continues for a 14-year-old boy who has not been seen for a few hours after taking a swim in the swift-moving current of the big ditch. Police and fire officials have been using a jet ski, some boats, and a helicopter to search the ditch from I-235 and 55th Street South. Cheney Reservoir is now at full capacity, just 11 days after it was measured at only 73.6%. Cheney is Wichita's main source for drinking water. The Public Works Department has declared the drought officially over. Some folks who live at an assisted living center in Hutchinson won't be able to go home for at least 2 weeks. Flooding has damaged the Elm Grove estates. President Barack Obama making it clear that he has no intention of stopping the daily collection of phone records from millions of Americans, but he's promising, quote, appropriate reforms in how that surveillance is carried out. And a South Florida man who authorities say killed his 26-year-old wife and then apparently posted a video, rather a photograph, of a corpse on Facebook, is being held without bond. More news at KFDI.com. It's 4:01.
Crews looking for that 14-year-old boy in the big ditch in West Wichita this afternoon. Time saver traffic from Automasters. For all your hailed image needs, Immobile 22. I'm Matthew Harding.
KFDI time saver traffic updates every 10 minutes. Depend on it.
What's going on the roads right now?
Tony, we have a non-injury accident working at southbound Interstate 235 at Zoo Boulevard this afternoon, so give yourself a little bit of extra time moving through that area.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to check out my other videos. I got plenty available for you to watch. Wind turbines, sirens, trains, weather, little bit of everything on here. So make sure to subscribe, like, and share to your Facebook and Twitter followers. Also remember to visit my website. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.